Good journey, everyone. Welcome to Space Oats Live, a Star Wars podcast. I am the Crucial Crew member, Jay, and we are getting excited for the Bad Batch. So bittersweet. Bad Batch Season 3 going to premiere tomorrow night. Actually, I think it's having a premiere tonight. Some good acquaintances of mine are actually at the premiere, which is pretty awesome. That is definitely on my bucket list. You know, it would be so awesome to be invited to a premiere, red carpet premiere sometime. Who knows? Maybe that will happen one day. But that would be something that would be really amazing to be able to do. But yeah, the Bad Batch Season 3 going to premiere tomorrow with a 3-episode premiere. So can't wait for that. Watch that tomorrow morning. Can't wait to see how this is going to play out. Lots of questions to be answered in this season, so looking forward to it. But we got a lot of other stuff to talk about. I mean, not really. By the way, I am watching Bad Batch Season 2. I'm still trying to finish out Season 2 before I get to Season 3. So I'm on episode, I forget which episode number it is, but it's the Metamorphosis episode, the one with the Zillo Beast, which is really cool. It started off very Alien-esque with like the Delta Squad in the shuttle transporting it, and then the alien taking the Zillo Beast taking over. Yeah, just a really, really good episode. So kind of starting to tie in the rest of like the last chapter of the Bad Batch together, like kind of like setting up that whole finale, which is which left us with a lot of destruction, a lot of tearing apart of the Bad Batch. So you know, we don't have many of them left together. So it's just really Wrecker and Hunter on their own at the end of Season 2. So we'll have to see how this plays out. But yeah, let's go ahead and do a little bit of Not Long Ago in this Galaxy, because you know I do have a Revenge of the Jedi poster up. So what's the deal with that? I did do a post earlier today. I did do a post for Not Long Ago in this Galaxy. Basically, the reason for the Revenge of the Jedi poster being up, because today in 1981, February the 20th is the date. 1981, George Lucas completed his first draft for what was then called Revenge of the Jedi, what we now know as Return of the Jedi. We know the reasons for that, but at that time it was Revenge of the Jedi. Don't know if that was always the intention of the title, or if it was something that George Lucas was using to just kind of throw off anybody that was trying to steal merchandise. But actually, Fox did technically create official merchandise for Revenge of the Jedi, not really realizing that the title was going to be changed. So there is some Revenge of the Jedi memorabilia out there that is official. But Revenge of the Jedi was the first draft of the script to the film that would become Star Wars Episode 6, Return of the Jedi. The film was actually it changed a lot, because originally George Lucas did in fact, and he has said this, he's gone back and forth, but he has said that originally at one point it was supposed to be 9 films when he was going to do them. And he kind of abandoned that project. And of course, we know that we ended up with 9 films, but it was going to be a little bit different, because the story that we know was going to be a little bit longer. It was actually supposed to just really be focused on Luke Skywalker and his friends kind of trying to save Han Solo, really, and continuing to save the galaxy from the Galactic Empire. But it really wasn't supposed to be a finale of defeating the Empire at the end of that film. That was what the final 3 were supposed to be. So that first draft was going to focus on Luke Skywalker, Leia, their adventures to save Han Solo from the clutches of the bounty hunter Boba Fett, which and then of course he decided not to make that third trilogy, so so that idea was scrapped. The script was written by Lawrence Kasdan and by Lucas. It featured Darth Vader, Tien Jared, and Darth Sidious competing for the possession of Luke Skywalker. The second draft was completed on September 21st, 1981. And that was written by Lawrence Kasdan. And this draft included the elimination of Hadabadan. Hadabadan was the planet that was going to it was going to be where kind of like the duel was going to be, I believe. So, and kind of like what Mustafar ended up being in Revenge of the Jedi. But yeah, so Hadabadan, that whole planet was eliminated in the second draft. And then also Vader was more prominent in a villainous role in the second draft than he was in the first draft. It also included the installment of the Dagobah scenes, Luke going back to Dagobah. The Emperor's name was actually Kas Dashit instead of Sheev Palpatine, and Han Solo was originally killed off in the first draft. So the draft, even in the second draft, actually, there were a lot of delays. The draft was scrapped. November 1st, 1981, the shooting script was presented. That's when it was entitled Star Wars Episode 6 Return of the Jedi. And then, of course, we know the film was released in 1983. The reason, obviously, being with that whole change in Return to Revenge didn't really sit well with George Lucas because it was not a trait of a Jedi. So, of course, that was revisited with Episode 3 because it did fit the Sith. So Revenge of the Jedi was then used for that, obviously. So, yeah. Draft for Return of the Jedi today, not long ago in this galaxy. I did watch Return of the Jedi today. So, obviously, I was home. I was off. I wasn't planning on going anywhere today. Couldn't get to the parks today, so I decided to just chill and watch some Star Wars. Watch some Bad Batch, which I'm still doing. Getting caught up on all of those. I've had a couple of old fashions today, so I went out to a little place not too far from here. Really good burger place, and had a really great dinner. So hadn't done that in a while. So that was really fun. But yeah, so that is your Not Long Ago in This Galaxy. We're going to go ahead and hop on to something else. You may notice this from Visions Season 2. I know a couple weeks ago I went through some of the nominations for some of the Visions animations. Well, the Annie Awards happened, and out of the, I think there was, how many nominations? 6 Annie Award nominations for Visions Volume 2. There were actually two winners. So Screecher's Reach, which you see there depicted on the left screen if you're watching, won for Best Direction for TV Media. And the other episode was Owl's Song that won. And that one won for Best Music for TV Media for that short. So those two out of the six. So 2 out of the 6 won. So congratulations to those 2 episodes and to all the other winners of the Annie Awards. Great episodes. I knew Screecher's Reach was one of my favorites, so probably in my top 3. So really great episode. Great animation, style, story, everything about it was really, really good. So love that episode. Al's Song, not my favorite, but it's a good episode. It's a good episode. I love the alien feel of Metamorphosis. It's such a good episode. It's just catching my attention. It just reminds me of Alien so much. But yeah, so congratulations to all of them. And then, of course, we got the Bad Batch coming up. Bad Batch Season 3. I hope everybody's excited about Bad Batch Season 3. I am certainly excited about Bad Batch Season 3. So, just curious as to like what everybody thinks where the story is going to go. We got a lot of characters that we need a lot of answers on. I mean, I'm curious as to see like what happens to Omega, and if Omega, I mean, I don't think, as we know, Star Wars. I mean, it's not very dark. It's still very family friendly, and I don't think that anything's going to happen to Omega. So I'm wondering if we're going to see Omega sometime in the future, if this season ends. I mean, we keep thinking that everything's ending, and then we keep getting different stories. So, yes, it is the ending of the Bad Batch. We thought that. I mean, yes, the Clone Wars ended, and we thought that kind of style of storytelling, that era of storytelling, was going to end. But then we got Bad Batch. So are we going to get something else? Are we going to get another story with whoever survives out of the Bad Batch? So I'm just curious as to know what maybe might happen with her character. Is there some sort of possible Force sensitivity with her character? I know that's been speculated upon, especially with the episode Jedi that starts with a G. Is Tech going to survive? I hope not. I kind of hope that, they just let sleeping dogs lie with that one. And they just let the loss of Tech be a very big part of the story. Kind of with moving forward. But what's going to... I have a feeling that, at the very least, Hunter and Omega are going to make it out, I would think. I mean, unless Hunter, maybe sacrifices himself at some point for Omega. There's always that likelihood that Crosshair could actually redeem himself and survive. And then him and Omega kind of carry on together. What's going to happen to Wrecker, Echo coming back, I'm sure. I would think the Echo is going to make it out. We already lost Echo once. I don't know if we're going to lose Echo again. We know Rex survives because Rex is in Rebels. So Rex, I'm sure, will make an appearance at some point. Oh, this little beast. I love this episode and how it tied back to the Clone Wars. But Emery Carr, I'm sure we're going to learn a little bit more about her. I feel that she's going to have a part in helping Omega and Crosshair possibly escape. That's my prediction with that. Dr. Hemlock, I'm sure, is going to be as evil as ever in these episodes, these for season 3. But obviously the Bad Batch is going to be no more in a way, because obviously they're ending the season, the series. So they're going to not really make it out in full. So my guess is we might lose somebody else. Whether it be Hunter or Wrecker, it's going to be one of the other ones. So, which is really only going to leave one Bad Batch member, minus Crosshair. I mean, yes, I think he's going to maybe redeem himself, but I don't think it's in a way where he's going to be considered part of the team. I don't know. We'll have to find out, right? Zillaby's getting bigger. Zillaby's getting bigger. It's so much fun watching this. I mean, it's amazing how quickly it transforms, and you're like right on realize that it was the Zilla Beast. I can't remember like the first time I watched the episode if I realized that it was going to be the Zilla Beast or not, like right off, or if I was like once I saw it after it kind of got to the full size, be like, oh, it's the Zilla Beast. I was trying to remember the armor of the Zilla Beast is why they wanted the Zilla Beast. I'm pretty sure that was the reason. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and switch my camera real quick. And also get rid of this sharing. There we go. Full screen. Full screen, full screen. Whoa, I don't like that full screen. There we go. That was kind of weird. I didn't like the way it was like showing me. Yeah, it's fun watching the Bad Batch. But yeah, not too much going on with Star Wars other than the Bad Batch coming out tomorrow. So we don't really know much as far as what's going to happen with the first 3 episodes. I guess we'll get a little bit of a preview. We haven't, right? Like we only had that one trailer, so I've just been kind of looking at trying to keep up with StarWars.com to see if there's anything just dropping at any moment. I was hoping that it would get dropped tonight, and we'd like last minute we get that 9 o'clock, but didn't happen. I really like that format. I think a lot of people prefer that, honestly. But I think Omega, we're going to see her again. And I'm really excited to see what is the next chapter in any of the characters that survive. The one thing that I was actually curious about is if we think that season 3 is going to tie into it all with maybe some Andor related content. Maybe, but I don't think so. I think this is too early for that, because Andor is going to be still about 4 years out, which is kind of going to be coinciding with more Rebels. But we might see some characters possibly that survive the Bad Batch show up in Andor, which would be really cool. I would love to see some crossover live action of the Bad Batch and Rebels, because we've already seen some live action Rebels characters in Ahsoka, and I would like to actually see them possibly show up in Andor Season 2 would be really cool. I loved having Delta Squad back. I loved Republic Commando. That was like one of my favorite games. So it's so cool to see Delta Squad showing up in the Bad Batch. I had to find my Tuca cat. I bought a Tuca cat. I don't know where he is. Somewhere, but the Zilla Beast. They wanted to be weaponized. This is how they find out about Mount Tantus, I believe. I love how everything just like ties together. I love how they're tying this really together to The Mandalorian. Just the Emperor's plans are just amazing. So much fun. So great. So great. But yeah, not too much to talk about with Star Wars. I was hoping for some people live tonight. I haven't gone live on Tuesday night in a while. And it seems like people have been joining in on Wednesdays. I was debating doing Wednesdays. I don't know. Not getting many people live lately, so when you don't have much to talk about with Star Wars, you hope for conversation. But we don't have anybody live with. Curious to see what happens to Nala Se and Lama Su. No, wait, Prime Minister. Yeah, Lama Su, right? I think Nala Se is probably gonna not make it out because she's not cooperating. Setting up the Omega twist at the end. So that was the end of Metamorphosis. So yeah, I'm gonna watch probably one more episode while I'm on here, and then probably sign off. So going through the credits. D. Bradley Baker. So the Outpost. The Outpost is this is kind of like one of those little side stories, I believe. Which was interesting. An interesting side story. Kind of like having that first inclination that Crosshair had finally turned on the Empire and given up on his faith in him being a soldier for life, so for the Empire. And if you didn't realize it yet, Mos Eisley announced 2 more dates, one for San Diego Comic-Con, one for Dragon Con, which Dragon Con I would be trying to go to that one, so since it's not too far away. Keep forgetting to ask off for that, which I really need to do. Crosshair. So much fun. Really just doesn't care about anybody but himself. So The Outpost is the 12th episode of season 2, originally coming out March 8th of last year. We got this new commanding officer, Lieutenant Nolan, and they're going to Barton 4, which is a very harsh, snowy ice planet. Mountainous. Almost reminds me of like Eriadu or Edu. The planet in Rogue One. That was very rainy and mountainous. But this is just more cold and snowy. I love how the beginning of this episode sets up the end so well, with the vulture-like creatures swirling around when they first get on the planet, and then we relive that moment at the end so well. I love that. That's why it's so good to like rewatch these episodes, because they do callbacks so well. The writing is just amazing. The ice vultures. Ice vultures. I think it's funny that actually D. Bradley Baker is credited as for the sound effects of the ice vultures. Shelby Young does the voice of Captain Bragg in this episode. Emery Carr makes an appearance in this episode, Keisha Castle Hughes. And then Crispin Freeman is the voice of Lieutenant Nolan. And then Max Hampton as a stormtrooper. We get the first appearance of Hex in this episode. And also the first appearance of Mayday. And the first appearance of Veach. Which are the three that were on Barton 4. I like the labor droids that are on this episode too. And some of the clone troopers, like with the bandages, kind of foreshadow a little bit the look of the Death Troopers in Ahsoka. Look a little bit like them. Now that I've watched this after Ahsoka. First appearance of Barton 4, this planet. Such a great episode. I love Crosshairs. Crosshair has a really cool, like, armor that's preceding the Death Trooper. It's not totally black, but it's that dark, like, gunmetal gray look that precedes that look. Just looking at people that are at the premiere. Sounds like Bad Batch Season 3 is getting some good reviews so far with some people that have seen it. Goosebump material. I love that. That's great. Episode 2, within the first act, D. Bradley Baker cited as being amazing. Of course, we know that. Looks like they released maybe an official clip of the Season 3. I don't know if it's new. I'll have to watch that in a little bit. See if anything's new with that. Maybe I'll actually do that right now. Kind of see if there's anything new with this. Yeah, I think it is a new clip, it looks like. With some interesting characters. With Hunter and Wrecker. on some kind of jungle planet with 2 kids. That almost looks like Lost Lord of the Flies-ish. If you follow me on X, I'm going to repost this. So, some cool trees with some living vines. That's pretty neat. It says cadets. Interesting. Well, that was a quick clip. Not much in that, but pretty. Wonder if that's in the first episode. But I'm going to go ahead and repost this on my Twitter feed. So, there's a post by Joel Aron, who is the director of cinematography for The Bad Batch. So, also big props to Kevin Kiner for the score, for which, I mean, come on. If he wasn't that great, he wouldn't have been the composer for Ahsoka. So, I really love Whistle Pig. That's what I'm actually sipping on right now, is some Whistle Pig. One of the old fashions I had earlier today was from their rye, Whistle Pig rye, which, what a great old fashioned that was. Ooh, Pressure Mine. Crosshair made a mistake. I could always go for being a older clone if I keep this beard going. Seems like a lot of the clones that were in the end there all started growing some beards. I could be a clone at the end of his days if I keep this beard going good. I love that. Mayday. Disarming the mine, and then he waits around the corner until Crosshair lifts his foot off. almost don't remember how this episode ends. I know Mayday. Is he involved in this? The Raiders? I don't know. I can't really remember. Can't remember what like changes Crosshair's like. I know Mayday doesn't make it out of this episode. I know that. I've never seen anybody do Mayday's cosplay. That would be a cool cosplay, honestly. I like the armor with the bandages. Oh, Crosshair caused an avalanche. I actually thought that Mayday got hurt in the avalanche. There it is. Planting the seeds of doubt. We were good soldiers. We followed orders, and for what? There was a second avalanche. That's what it was. I thought that the avalanche got him. That's right. He saved his life. Sort of. Pushed him out of the way, but still Crosshair got. A little bit of hope for Crosshair early there, trying to save Bayday's life. Won't leave him behind. I think that's like kind of the first time that we see Crosshair just in redemption mode in this episode. Kind of realizing that he doesn't have really anybody left. Changing his more selfishness to back to that self-sacrificing for his brothers. It's a good turning point episode. It gives hope for Crosshair. I really do think that there's going to be redemption for him. Whether he survives or not, that's another story. Oh, my knees. I'm getting old. I'm getting old like the clones. I love just going back to those vultures. Those ice vultures just... I also love how the early stages of the Imperial Stormtroopers in these episodes are pulled from Macquarie's art with the way that they look. Of course, just the previous episode was, well, not the previous episode, 2-3 episodes ago was pretty much the moving forward of the Imperial Stormtrooper. This is like the turning point of Crosshair at the end of this episode. Got him all the way back. Empire just lets him die. Yep. They're just looked at as expendable. Oof. Love it, love it, love it, love it. This is so great. Ending of this episode is just great. Ugh, look at that. Takes him out. I wonder what the stormtroopers think. I wonder if they kind of knew he was an idiot. Oh good, somebody took him out. Don't have to deal with him anymore. Oh, I forgot about the end of this. That's right. I think this is he wakes up on Mount Tantus, doesn't he? Yep. Yeah, Emery. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and sign off for the evening. I'm going to keep watching some Clone Wars, season 2, getting ready for season 3. Hope everybody is having a great week, and hope everybody is able to watch the Clone Wars season 3 premiere tomorrow. And I will see you on Thursday. As you know, I do my live stream pretty much every day except for Tuesday, Wednesday, on my Instagram page, which is the Crucial Crew member. At about 2 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I go live there and do a little bit not long ago in this galaxy, talking about some Star Wars history and maybe even some other things. But for the most part, I do that on my drive to work. And other than that, I'm here every week. So please like this episode. I know it wasn't a lot of Star Wars content. I didn't have anybody join in, so it's when I don't have anybody to kind of talk with, it kind of gets a little bit light. And there wasn't much going on this week in Star Wars. We got Bad Batch coming up. I've been watching Bad Batch, so we watched the Bad Batch, and what a great episode. So I'm going to keep watching Bad Batch tonight in preparation for season 3 premiere tomorrow. Hope everybody has a great night. Until next time, watch some Star Wars, listen to some Star Wars, play some Star Wars, read some Star Wars, do something Star Wars each and every day. And remember, most importantly, may the stars light your way. Have a good night, everyone. See you next week.